Okay, everyone, I'm here with Peter Parks. We're just going to continue this interview. For those of you that are watching, I hope you're getting a lot of value. Some of this has been very advanced and very high level. What I want to do is I want to bring it down to even a lot of beginners, okay? People that are maybe only making 5 figures a year online, okay? Or you know, maybe 6 figures, right? But you want to go, how do you go from 5 to 6 to 7 to even 8 figures? Or Peter, like you, even 9 figures where you're going. What is it that you do? What is the principle? What are some tips and advice you could offer for people that are just getting started and they're like, man, you know, 4 figures a year, 5 figures a year, I just want to break through. How do they keep breaking through to the next level? I'd love to hear some of your thoughts and your wisdom on that.
So what I would do if I had to go back and do everything all over again, the first thing I would really do is I would make sure I have a little kitty set up for myself. So I have at least $3,000-$5,000, and I would go out and I would bug the hell out of somebody that I look up to, that I know that's got the experience, that has been there, done that, and I would do whatever it takes to get under their wing. I would literally be the toilet paper on their bottom, follow them around to get them to get something from them, because I think that is the number one key to success, is to really be and surround yourself with people that are up at a super high level, because what they'll do is they'll reach down and give you their hand to help you up. They won't give you like a handout, but they'll give you a hand up to help you. So that would be the first thing that I would do. If I had to do everything all over again, I would go and get a mentor, man. I would go out and look for someone, even if they're doing 6 figures and I'm doing 4 figures, like that, to me, that's my mentor, because they know the 4-figure, 5-figure challenges and they're at 6 figures. So I would go get mentorship. That would be the first thing that I would do. I wouldn't even hesitate. I wouldn't screw around. I would save my money. I would go to the first big conference that I know that there's going to be some high level people at that really I need to get to, because they're in my industry, and I would just that's it. I would run around like a madman. I'd be cool about it, but I would run around like a madman. I'd make sure that I leave an impression in the people's minds that I wanted to get mentored by. I would leave an impression with them. I would follow up with them, and I would do whatever it takes, no matter how long it took. I would get mentored. That would be the first thing, because they're going to help you. Because money comes and goes, man. Money's just a byproduct of everything that we're doing right now. So, I mean, money can be made like that, and it can be lost like that. The mindset, that's the biggest thing. Once you get a dialed-in mindset and you're switched on, like, you'll never lose that. And the rest of it is pretty easy. For me, basically, the internet really is 99% technical and 1% mindset. And that 1% is going to set you aside from literally everybody else. So that being said, here's kind of how I want to lay it out for everybody. 4 figures up to 8 figures. At 4 figures to 5 figures right now, you want to make sure you have a process and a system. You want to make sure you set it up and you have it running, and you don't have to have it optimized, but you have to have a process and a system set up before you hit 6 figures, because if you don't, you're going to stall. You're going to burn out, because you're a one-man show. You're doing everything by yourself. You can only build so many ads so many times. You can only look at so many offers. You can only write so much content, and you're going to burn yourself out. And when you burn yourself out and you're just going to be winging it, you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have good weeks. You're going to have bad weeks. You're probably going to take off a month or a month and a half, because you're depressed and you're frustrated. Because I've been there, done that. So I understand what happens. So you're going to lose money too. Don't think that every campaign is going to be profitable, because it is not. You're going to lose a lot of money. And it's going to happen if you don't have the previous steps that I've talked about set up properly. It's going to happen. So you need to stay the course. You need to buckle down. Now, you also got to make sure, as part of your systems and part of your processes, that you have your tracking put into place, so you know exactly what creatives are working for you. When I say your creatives, I'm talking about everything that you're doing, like your blog posts, your press releases, your banners, your social media posts, everything. You got to have something tracked. You got to have everything set up and tracked. Now, and you got to put it so the tracking makes sense to you. Like I have very specific tracking that I use in my business, and I've tried to kind of show it to a couple of our members, and they're like, "Well, I don't understand that." Okay, you don't need to understand it. You need to understand the process, and then go out and build it for yourself. So put the tracking that makes sense for yourself. So whatever kind of funky word that you want to use, or keep it simple, like A B C D E F G or whatever. Like add one white background, yellow lander, whatever. The system that makes sense for you. Make sure you have that. You also want to make sure that you have all your tracking with either sub IDs or tokens, depending on what kind of tracking system that you use, because you want to make sure you want to know down to the action what's happening. And keep it simple. Don't try to complicate yourself. Don't make it complicated. That's when you're at the 6-figure point. Now, to go from 6 figures to 7 figures, then this is where everything kind of gets fun. At this point, if you're going to 6 to 7 figures, you should already be thinking about, if you haven't already put a team into place. And you've got to have that team primed for scaling, because again, I don't know too many one-man armies that get to 6 to 7 figures by themselves. Like, you got to have a couple people, helping you out, like, because you'll go mental, and you will screw up. So you will screw up when you're putting a team in place. And I've kind of touched about this. We kind of talked about this, Chris, throughout the part 1 of the call, I believe. So, go back and listen to that part of that call again. But you've got to make sure that you have a process and a team put into place. You've got to make sure that you vet the team out, because stuff is going to get broken. You've got to make sure you have a process, a checklist put into place, because stuff is going to slip through the cracks. It always does. Right now, I use Basecamp, I use Trello, and I use Skype. I use Team. So these are my main tools that I use, and they're all process-driven tools. They're all systematic, checklist-driven tools, right? Because you have to set up your business. That's called automation. I don't know really of any other way to automate except with software, and I do have software, but I mean, if you don't have the software, you really need to set yourself up with cloud-based solutions where you're going through literally a collaboration type of a system and a checklist type of a system to run everything, because if you don't, things are going to get super messy and super ugly, and they're going to get ugly fast, and you're going to lose a lot of money. So that would be my biggest recommendation to everybody there. Now, going from literally, from 7 figures to 8 figures, I mean, at this point, it's all about trust, and it's all about leverage. You need to be able to make sure at this point that you already have your team put into place. You've got NDAs signed up the wazoo. You've got multiple merchant accounts rotating. You cannot have just one merchant account or just run everything from your PayPal account. I mean, that's absolute suicide. So I wouldn't do anything like that. I mean, even at the 6-figure point, that's when you start to say to yourself, oh my God, I need to start getting another merchant account. I need to pick up a couple other bank accounts. I need to have some other payment solutions put into place already. Because figures, if you don't have that, you're, oh my God, like that's just not a place that you want to be in. You also want to make sure at this point you have a solid and a rock solid financial team, a tax team, and a legal team put into place. At my level, I have that. I have that all geared up. Because you're going to get sued. You're going to get sued. You're going to have problems. Now, I don't want to mention, Don Wilson on the call, but look at what happened to Don, and he was at that point, 7, almost 8 figures, and look what happened to him. So, I mean, learn from everybody else's mistakes. And now he had to go and get a whole bunch of legal team and get all this stuff and spend a whole bunch of money. But you know what? It's going to happen, especially when you're playing on somebody else's platform. If you don't protect yourself and you are not compliant or try to be as compliant as possible, and you don't have your structure put into place, like you're not, structured out properly, with legal team, tax team, financial team, like you're screwed. Like, why would you want to give away, at this point, 7, 8 figures, even 6, 7 figures? Why would you want to give away 38% of your income to the tax man when all you have to do is structure yourself out properly? So instead of giving 38%, you give away 12% or 16%. That's a hell of a lot of savings if you understand, If you care, that is. If you don't care, then hey, why are you listening to the call? I mean, literally, that's kind of all I have to say about that. So all these things you need to put into place. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a tax accountant, so I'm not going to give you any type of legal advice or tax advice or anything like that. I'm just telling you that the foundation is to have a financial team, a tax team, and a legal team put into place. The financial team obviously is, I consider the financial team and the tax team two separate entities. My financial team is my long-term, how do I protect my investments, and how do I grow my investments, and where do I put my investments? I'm thinking global. I'm playing on a global playing field, so I don't like to leave a lot of my money with one particular. So that's kind of I separate myself at that particular level, and there's a few other high level guys, higher level than me that already doing that diet. So that's kind of I was question how to answer that. So for project management and collaboration management, you want to go use Trello.com. You want to go use Basecamp.com. So those are two good tools. You want to go I use TeamViewer because at the end of the day, like I said, my outsourcers do everything. My project managers do everything. So when they need to log in and use my computer and go on screen, like I leave my laptop running. That's why it's always burning out. People always wonder, well, why are you always buying a Mac like every other year? I'm like, my batteries. I'm a power Mac user. I blow up stuff, man. So those kind of tools right there. You also, I'm just gonna throw it out there. Use AdBeat. AdBeat is a super high-level competitive intelligence tool that's going to tell you what the other super affiliates and super pubs and advertisers are doing. You're going to be able to map out your complete media buying blueprint using AdBeat. There's a big, AdBeat, what runs where. I prefer AdBeat, man, because Mike's a super dialed-in guy. He knows exactly what he's doing. And quite frankly, there's more data and more up-to-date data in AdBeat, so I go use it. You need industrial strength tools for your stuff. Also, those of you know, I use Infusionsoft. So I use Infusionsoft, I use Aweber, I use GetResponse, but the workhorse for me is Infusionsoft. I use Aweber and GetResponse for other niches that are a little bit easier to use based on their policies and stuff. So those are little tools that you can use there. I use Dropbox as well. So those are a couple little tools, and Google Drive. So it's not about using a whole bunch of tools because that's where kind of a lot of people screw up, because they have all sorts of tools on their desktop and they're logging into all sorts of different accounts, and that's just time consuming. Like, you know what I mean? Like, hey man, Basecamp, Trello, TeamViewer, Dropbox, Google Drive, that's pretty much it for me. You know what I mean? And then the competitive intelligence, AdBeat for tracking, it's either Probably or it's CPV Labs for me. Like, that's it. Like, and I have my own enterprise based solution as well, because when I do a lot of mobile, I need to track on mobile, so I need to track down to the device, to the carrier, the operating system. So, but that's at my level. I mean, you're just starting out, you need about 2 or 3 tools to get yourself going, honestly, and that's really about it. If we can talk kind of openly for a second, just for like a minute or two, like when I have a lot of people that contact me on a daily basis. Sometimes I'll actually take the call and I'll kind of respond back and I'll say, all right, so what does your business look like? What's your business model? How much money are you making a month? How much of that is profit? And what are the tools you're using? And you'd be shocked. Dude, you'd be shocked at what people are doing. Like, they've got like 50 different tools. They've got like all these websites that they're registered for. And I'm like, why do you have all this stuff? Oh, well, I bought this course and, this guru said to get this, and I bought this course over here, and I bought this plugin said to go over here and do this, and this plugin for this, and this plugin for that, and this plugin for that. I'm like, oh my God, it's no wonder you haven't made a cent. It's how you use the resources and how you take action with the resources. That's what makes you successful. So at the end of the day, really, I mean, if I had to start everything all over again, I had to go back from scratch, and I lost everything. I lost like literally everything. You know what I would just use? I would use a tracking service. I would use a like Basecamp or Trello, and I would use I have brain fart. I have a brain fart here. That's what I use. 2-3 tools. That's it. My tracking, my collaboration system. Sorry, and my autoresponder. That's all I would use. Because really, at the end of the day, that's kind of really all you need.